to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. So today I've got a mom video, a parent video for you guys. Just some helpful tips. Just in case you guys don't know, I do have a 7-year-old. His name is Isaiah. We call him Zay Zay. He is headed to 2nd grade this year. Very exciting, but also very sad for me. But I wanted to give you a few tips as we are getting ready to go back to school. Besides the normal just getting adjusted, I think Isaiah has had a really great kindergarten year and 1st grade year. He's also a very emotional child, so I'm not going to touch on that subject, but academic wise, schedule wise, like things that we did to ensure he had the best year that we could possibly give him, I just wanted to share with you guys. Again, not perfect over here. A lot of this stuff took a lot of trial and error and dedication, but we saw a difference once we kind of just stuck to these 5 things. So I'm just hoping that these tips can help you if your child is entering elementary, starting a new school, going into kindergarten, 1st grade, whatever the case may be. So first things first, the one thing that really took a lot of trial and error and really just being consistent with was a early but reasonable bedtime. So Isaiah doesn't start school until like almost 9, you guys. He's so simple. He's a very simple boy. Bam, 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 and he's out the door. He's ready to go. But early bedtime but reasonable was definitely something we had to make sure we were consistent about. One, Isaiah is just a kid that just really needs to get some good rest. It doesn't necessarily have to be long, but it has to be just really good deep sleep. And something that contributed to getting him to bed at an early but reasonable time was making sure he was worn out, and that helped him sleep through, you know, the night, because with kindergarten and with 1st grade he was still getting up, still climbing in our bed. And when you have to do that, even as adults, it just ruins your sleep. I love Isaiah's school because they try to go outside every single day, you guys. It doesn't matter the weather. Of course, if it's wet outside, they're not gonna do it, but snow, you better bundle up. If it's hot outside, you better bring a water bottle. But they try their best to get these kids outside, and that was definitely something that we realized that we had to do. So putting him in after school activities, even coming home, making sure he got outside some more. Little people have a lot of energy, and if they're not releasing that energy, they're not going to be ready for bed. They're not going to be able to decompress. And I just found that getting that energy released, which could take time away from what I'm doing, but that's fine. I will take 30 minutes away from what I'm doing to let you run around and do this and do that so that you can get some good sleep and be ready for the next day. So that was something. And then getting him to bed at a decent time. It didn't make sense if he was already exhausted and then going to bed super late, and then you're going to be tired the next morning. So if he was already exhausted, already depleted on the inside, was just worn out, we made sure we went on ahead and got that shower early and get dinner started, bedtime prayers, and knocked out by, you know, whatever time you feel is reasonable. So I found that getting your child to bed and being consistent with it, that's the thing, being consistent with bedtime gives them a greater opportunity to perform much better in school, and they're just ready. The attitude is much better. They're a lot more positive, and they're a lot more focused in school. Once we got it down, y'all, because that was a struggle. Once we got it down, it ended up paying off, and we noticed with his performance in school that was definitely helping him. And you guys, bedtime is hard. Look, I have been there. I've done it. Bedtime is certainly a difficult thing to tackle, but just remember, it starts at home. Their performance at school, their attitude at school, their behavior at school. And if we're not giving our kids the proper tools and proper schedules, we can't expect for them to be focused in school, to be ready to go, to have positive attitudes if we're not setting them up for success at home. Again, I don't know everything about parenting. Y'all know I don't know everything about parenting. I'm just giving you guys what I have learned. And y'all, an early bedtime gives you time to relax more than anything. Like, that's the main thing. I can have me some me time to just scroll on TikTok or Instagram in peace. So next, you guys, an easy one that I actually found really helps. Really, number 2 and 3 kind of go hand in hand. And number 2 is it's really small, but having an easy breakfast already available, already ready so that your child can go in there and get it. So if they can't pour cereal or they're just too little, you know, to make it themselves, have other things available that's already set out, maybe in a drawer where they can pull out, or in the pantry that they're allowed to go in and get some milk themselves. I love the little Horizons milks. I used to buy those for Isaiah all the time. He can go in there, it has a straw in it, and then he can go get himself something else, you know, a protein bar or a Nutri-Grain bar, or whatever you want to call it. Isaiah doesn't have to have a really big breakfast. He's just not one of those. Some days he does wake up hungrier than others, but most days he can get away with like some milk and some fruit or something like that. That's easy for him to just go in the refrigerator and grab, especially if I'm dragging in the morning or he's just up way before me and my alarm says it is not time to get up yet. And it makes them feel also a little bit more independent, a little bit more like a big kid, big girl, big boy, that they can go in the morning, they know how to watch a little bit cartoons, get their breakfast, and sit down until it's time to actually start getting ready for school. Number 3 goes along with that, with getting ready. I love seeing when the parents like organize their kids' clothes throughout the week, but that's something that never really bothered us in the morning. Isaiah's really not into clothes right now. As long as he's covered, he doesn't care. As long as it's comfortable, he's fine. Do not put him in a pair of jeans. He's not doing it. So that was never an issue for us in the mornings, and I don't really foresee it being an issue. Our issue was, where are the socks and where are your shoes? It's still an issue to this day, you guys. That slowed us down the most, and that ended up being the absolute most frustrating thing ever, and it still is, because that bus is coming whether you are there or not. So basically, just kind of think of those things in the mornings that slow you down. Do what works for you and your child, making sure that everything is seamless, and making sure y'all just wake up in a really great mood. No one's frantic, nobody's running around. I hate when that happens in my house. It throws off everybody's mood. Isaiah ends up walking out the door irritated. Dad's late for work. I'm annoyed. Like I said, if everything has to be in a row, everything has to be lined up before bedtime, so be it. But if it doesn't, if you're like me, just make sure those little things are already set up. Let's figure this out in 5 minutes so that everyone is ready to go in the morning. So number 4, you guys, is a really important one. And it's something that I started doing, I want to say when Isaiah was actually in kindergarten. So when he comes home from school, I stopped asking him, how was your day? Did you have a good day? What did y'all do today? Because all of the answer would be fine. We did stuff. It was a good day. We just weren't getting anywhere with that. And I'm like, look, I haven't been with you for 8 hours, okay? You my baby. So I need you to use your voice and tell me what happened. A whole summary is asking for way too much in my opinion. So I do encourage you to kind of just Google open-ended questions for kindergartners, open-ended questions for first graders, so on and so forth. And just remind yourself of the questions that you asked the day before. Now, I don't ask him every single day. I'm not on it like that, you guys. I try and be the best parent I could possibly be. And some days I'm just like, I'm glad you're home. I'm glad you're safe. I gotta get back to work, or something along those lines. I'm not feeling well, but I try my best 9 times out of 10 to ask him different questions. Also ask questions that deal with this teacher, or questions that deal with the that focus on the classmates, so that you can kind of get to know them better without even really knowing them, because you never know what's going on in other children's homes. And maybe the students, you know, tell your child. So maybe they would tell Isaiah something that's a secret, or something that's just happening in their home, but Isaiah's not really thinking much of it, you know, whether they didn't eat last night and Isaiah comes to tell me, well, so-and-so said he didn't have dinner last night because they didn't have any food. And then he's not really thinking about it. He's just telling me. And then I'm able to maybe do something about it, tell the teacher, the principal. Also, what that does is letting your child know you're interested in their day. You actually want to know. And that's just building a deeper connection with them. I also found out that someone in his classroom was probably not the best student and was having a hard time adjusting, I should say. Isaiah didn't really know how to handle that. He ended up voicing it to me, and I ended up voicing it to the teacher. about this particular student. He wasn't getting bullied or anything. The child was just a little bit more disruptive. And after having a conversation with his teacher, I understood why he was. I was also able to talk to Isaiah about how to interact with this child and the best way to do so. And then Isaiah started to have a better understanding. But if you don't ask those kind of deeper questions, I love asking him stuff that what made him just crack up laughing, what pissed him off today. Like, they will sometimes just end up telling you everything and just spilling the tea. You'd be like, ooh, you know what I mean? But anyways, oh, the kindergarten, first grade drama. Honestly, all I'm saying is just those questions just help to form a deeper bond with you and your child. Last but not least, you guys, number 5, having a schedule when they get home is also very important. Knowing what to expect every single day is key to not having a whole blow up in the house. So basically, once Isaiah got home, he knew he could just come home and just relax. He had about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on what I was doing. He would maybe have an hour some days, but around 30 minutes to an hour, he would just be able to come home, no iPad though, no Xbox, come home, eat, and just plop on the couch and just relax. Just let them come in and decompress in their own home. After he's had his moment to decompress, we would go straight into studying for about 30 minutes. I really never let it go past 30 minutes in my home. I'm just like, look, you've been at school all that time, you studied enough. Coming home and doing 30 minutes is enough. I'm really just wanting to know what you went over, wanting to know if you know what you went over. Show me your homework. Let's do our homework packet. And if you didn't have anything to do, let's do, you know, something that you need to work on. Unless he had a test coming up, which was more his math test, we never focused on like the whole 30 minutes on one subject. I found that it's much better to split it in two. So I would do 15 minutes of maybe reading or writing, and then we would do 15 minutes of math, because they know it's a short amount of time. So let's give my all during this 15 minutes or so, and I'm focused, I'm ready to go. I'm just reiterating to mama what I've learned. Coming home and having about 30 minutes of extra studying time, even at this young age, helped him tremendously with math, and it helped him so much, you guys, with reading. We saw a huge improvement with just 15 minutes a day, you guys. It doesn't take much with just reiterating or going over what they've already learned in school. Teachers have their hands full. They're doing the best they can, but they also need us at home to really help them reiterate what they are doing their best to teach in class. And also, it felt good, his teacher actually told us as well that she knows that he does extra work at home because she can tell the difference in the classroom. And I understand not everyone is able to really dedicate that much time. Once they get home, you're tired, you're worn out, I get it. But even with that, just making sure they have at least 15 minutes, you know what I mean, to go over, so that you know what's happening at school as well, and you know where they stand academically, so there are no surprises at the end of the year. So yeah, you guys, that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. Those are probably just my best tips for you that I have at the moment. That's what we're going into the school year with, and I think that's honestly enough for parents as well. I don't need a whole list of things to try and keep up with. Too much just becomes unreasonable. So if you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. I wish nothing but success for your little ones. I hope they have a safe year coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.
If somebody's heaven, tell me who.